Hey guys, Sean here, and today, exactly 5 years ago, we built this bookcase for our DVDs. And just think, 5 years ago, the Blu-rays only went up to here, and now they take up all of this, and they go up to right here, but if we include the Criterions, they fill up this entire shelf. So as usual, let's show you all of the Blu-rays that we got in the last 365 days. So let's get started. Chicago, this is the 1927 version. If you didn't know, the musical was based on a play that came out in 1926, and this movie was made the year later. And there's a lot of differences between this and the musical, where, like, since it was the 20s, they obviously can't show a girl who literally kills somebody on screen have a happy ending. In the middle of the movie, Amos has, like, a bigger role where he actually tries to steal money from Billy Flynn to get the money for the trial. At the end, she's found not guilty, and then you see, like, another girl where all the publicity goes to her, and then it's just a sad ending where she just breaks up with Amos and then walks away, and then it ends before she gets big. The Clock, Judy Garland's only non-musical starring role, and it's one of those movies where two people meet in a big city and then fall in love and get married within a day. And I like to assume that this movie is exactly how Judy Garland and Vincente Minnelli got married. Come On, Come On. So you think Come On, Come On is one of the best movies of the year. I do, and I'm tired of pretending it's not. Derzu Uzala. This is my first international Blu-ray. This is an Australian release from Imprint, and it's a Russian language Akira Kurosawa movie, and it looks pretty good on Blu-ray. And the cinematography is pretty good, but just the Blu-ray isn't really the best transfer because, like, this movie never really had a good transfer. Ed Wood. This is a really good Tim Burton movie. It's always nice watching movies about movie making, and Martin Landau is just excellent in it. The scene where he's fighting with the octopus, that's how you win an Oscar. Pull the string! Pull the string! Ernest and Celestine, another cute French movie that was nominated for an Oscar. And did you know that this movie had a sequel that came out last year? Yeah, I don't know where to watch that. I could, like, just, people say it's pretty good, but I don't know. Fight Club. Yeah, this movie is just amazing. Like, I haven't watched this for the longest time, but I finally did recently, and yeah, it's really quotable. When the snooty cat and the cartoon dog meet for the first time at the beginning of Reel 3, that's when you catch a glimpse of Tyler's contribution to the film. A nice, big filibus. If you didn't know what this movie is, it's a incredible 1915 Italian feminist steampunk jewel thief cross-dressing aviatrix thriller. And it's by far the best movie that we've seen from 1915, because, yeah, what other ones? Birth of a Nation? No. The plot of this movie is kind of like an origin story of the Dola gang from Castle in the Sky. The greatest show on earth. Yeah, I actually think this movie is so bad that it's funny. Because the scenes where they're just trying to do melodrama are just so bad that you just can't help but laugh at them. And the circus scenes are pretty cool, but, like, it also has almost like an MCU level of scenes where actors are shot in front of a green screen when they should have just brought them onto the set. I mean, just look at this scene.
Oh, you're for the birds, that's for sure. Giving up your life to Sebastian because he's washed up. Who do you think you are, Joan of Arc or somebody? What does it matter to you what I do? Go ahead, play noble. That halo's gonna slip, sugar. It's phony. It'll be around your neck. Oh, Fred.
Flyers have fallen before. They will again.
And, like, James Stewart as a clown who never takes off his makeup because he's running away from the cops. Yeah. This movie won Best Picture, but Singin' in the Rain wasn't even nominated. The Green Knight, pretty good-looking Blu-ray. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Like, we've had this for a while, but we just haven't showed it for some reason. As well as It Came from Outer Space, another 50s B movie. And yeah, we don't have a 3D TV, so we can't watch this movie in 3D. King Kong. Hey, you remember when I said this? Hey, Warner Brothers, get your crap together and re-release King Kong on Blu-ray. Well, they actually did re-release it, and it's really nice to own. The Matrix trilogy, all three of them on one Blu-ray. Yeah, we still haven't watched it. We need to get around to watching it. The Menu. This is one of the best movies of the year. Like, this is one of the biggest surprises that, like, I've seen in a while. It's just so funny and so good. I want a cheeseburger. The Monster Collection, this is a release that has a documentary about Phil Tippett, another documentary about creature designers, and a lot of bonus features. Steamboat Bill Jr. and College, more Buster Keaton movies that Aaron had to get. Blue Mountain Mystery and Tale of the Brave. I've been wanting to collect more Thomas Blu-rays, but like, I need Miss Yallen Rescue, Day of the Diesels, and The Great Race with the slipcover, and also King of the Railway because it doesn't have a slipcover. This and King of the Railway never got a slipcover in the US for some reason. Like, I'm never going to watch Miss Yallen Rescue or Day of the Diesels on Blu-ray, but I just have to have them. Three Women. This is the first Ernest Lubitsch silent movie released by a big studio in America, and why they decided to release Three Women and not any of his more popular movies like The Doll or So This Is Paris or Lady Windermere's Fan or The Student Prince, I'll never know. But they put the words The Ernest Lubitsch Collection on the cover, and collection literally means more than one of something, so hopefully they'll release more in the future. Toy Story of Terror and Toy Story That Time Forgot. You know, the real Toy Story 5. Yeah, now I have every Pixar movie on Blu-ray that came with a slipcover. The Triplets of Belleville. I finally found this Blu-ray for a decent price, and it's just basically my favorite French movie. The music and the Belleville Rendezvous song are just really nice. The Velocipaster. Yeah, I don't know why I bought this. It's another movie that's just so bad that it's funny. 4 words, VFX car on fire. The Wonderful World of the Brothers Grimm, the only other 3-camera Cinerama movie that was made besides How the West Was Won, and I'm guessing that it died out because shooting in Cinerama is really hard and shooting in 70mm is a lot easier, and having an entire movie filled with wide shots isn't really all that engaging. But if you want to see what Cinerama looks like with modern technology, go to the end of this video. Now, let's move on to the 4Ks. We've gotten a lot more 4K since last time, because mostly we just want to upgrade our favorite movies to 4K, or movies that look a lot better than Blu-ray on 4K. Like the Back to the Future trilogy, the Steelbook collection with 1, 2, and 3. These are nice Steelbooks. It even has a Vsauce video on it. And Coraline, this is a really nice 4K. And the Steelbook is just one of the best ones that we have. Like, not only does it, like, enhance the colors a lot more, but you can also see some of the dead pixels in the cameras that they used. Everything, everywhere, all at once. This isn't just the best movie of the year. This is the best movie of the last 5 years. Everything about this movie is just complete perfection. It's like, what more do you want in a movie? I thought since the movie was so good, the Oscars would snub it. But, like, no, they gave it 11 nominations, even for Best Song and Best Score, and I wouldn't think that they'd give it that much. Yeah, can't wait for this movie to win Best Picture. And The Fifth Element, yeah, it's pretty good looking 4K. Grease Lightning, tell me about it. Stud. Hobbs and Shaw on 4K, we found this at, like, Savers for, like, $4, and we have all the other Fast and Furious movies. Yeah, can't wait to see, like, what they do for Fast X. Yeah, did you know that in this year, 2023, we're getting Saw 10 as well as Fast and Furious 10. Saw 10, it's directed by the director of 6 and 7 and the editor of all the movies, so the creators of Jigsaw and Spiral aren't making it. But Tobin Bell is in it, even though he died in the third one. But I digress. Holiday Inn. I never thought that this movie would get a 4K, but like the 4K is only on the black and white version, and I personally like the color one because, I don't know, it's just that colorized black and white looks pretty good. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the new Steelbooks versions. It's a Wonderful Life, the Steelbook version. It's just an amazing movie. Jurassic Park, we haven't watched this yet because it's a Black Friday pickup. Lawrence of Arabia, this is a really nice 4K. Lightyear, talk about a letdown. I got this just because it was cheap. Whoever thought it was a good idea to make a movie about Buzz Lightyear, but the entire plot is Buzz Lightyear tries to get off of a planet, like, they should just not make movies anymore. Yeah, you mean to tell me that this movie came out in 1995 and it's the movie that Andy saw that made him want a Buzz Lightyear action figure, and he didn't want a Sox action figure? But let's talk about a better movie, The Polar Express. This is finally on 4K and it looks amazing on 4K. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. This is probably, out of all the movies that we own, this is probably the biggest increase of quality from Blu-ray to 4K. Shrek 2, my third favorite movie of all time. You know, I had to get this on 4K. Singin' in the Rain. Yeah, I actually haven't watched this in a long time until last year. Well, I saw this movie in a Fathom event in the theater the same day I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once. That was an amazing night. I've got it. The Dueling Mammy. No. The Thing, another Black Friday pickup. Top Gun Maverick. Talk about a good movie. This is just so much fun. And Turning Red. I mean, it's not as eye-gougingly cringe-inducing as I thought it would be, but the girl that voices the main character, this is the first movie she's ever been in, and you could definitely tell with some lines that she's not a professional voice actress. I have to go home because my mom picked up this new duster, and oh my gosh, you guys, it picks up so much dirt, it's bananas! And finally, Zack Snyder's Justice League. This was $10 at Black Friday. Talk about a miracle of a movie that's never getting followed up on. Who gives a crap about Creature Commandos or The Authority or Brewster Gold? Just make another Zack Snyder's Justice League. And we also have Cowboy Bebop, the collection. There's no beef in this stew. Well, it's not! That's my Jason Blum impression. Let's shoot this fire. Oh, and we also have The Wizard of Oz, the 3D Blu-ray. It's still sealed, but we don't have a 3D Blu-ray, so I'll just sell this eventually. Now, let's move on to the Criterion Blu-rays that we have. The Kid and the Circus, more Charlie Chaplin movies that Aaron had to get. And recently, after watching Arsenic and Old Lace, I've been watching a lot of Cary Grant movies. So we got these. The Awful Truth with Irene Dunne, and Bringing Up Baby and Holiday, two marvelous motion pictures starring Katharine Hepburn. And also Only Angels Have Wings, a movie about planes and flying and stuff. And Arsenic and Old Lace. This is one of the funniest movies of, like, the 40s that I've ever seen.
Hey, God, there's another one!
Beauty and the Beast, the only good live-action Beauty and the Beast. The Tales of Hoffman, the last glorious Technicolor Powell and Pressburger movie that they've released. War of the Worlds, another science fiction 50s movie that Aaron had to get. I also have Tom Jones, but I bought this for $2 at Goodwill, and I watched it a couple years ago, and it's one of the stupidest movies I've ever seen, so I'll just sell it. And finally, WALL-E. I never thought that this movie would be on the Criterion collection, but it is now. And since Disney made a deal with Criterion, hopefully that means we can get Armageddon and The Rock on a Criterion 4K. And now, let's do an update of my DVDs. Mostly, recently, the only DVDs that I've gotten are movies that aren't on Blu-ray or just collections of movies that most of them aren't on Blu-ray. Like this one, the Turner Classic Movies Marlon Brando collection with A Streetcar Named Desire, Julius Caesar, The Tea House of the August Moon, and Reflections in a Golden Eye. You know, the best Marlon Brando movies. And here is a 20th Century Fox collection with An Affair to Remember, Leave Her to Heaven, A Letter to Three Wives, and Peyton Place. Classic musicals from the Dream Factory Volume 3 with 9 movies. Hit the Deck, Deep in My Heart, Kismet, Nancy Goes to Rio, 2 Weeks with Love, Broadway Melody of 1936, Broadway Melody of 1938, Born to Dance, and Lady Be Good. Here's a double feature of The Prisoner of Zenda from 1937 and The Prisoner of Zenda from 1952. Destination Tokyo, a Cary Grant movie. Yeah, I bought this movie because it's not on Blu-ray. The Garbo Silence collection, the Turner Classic Movies with Flesh and the Devil, The Mysterious Lady, and The Temptress. Silver Screen Icons, the Cary Grant collection, My Favorite Wife, Night and Day, The Bachelor and the Bobby Soxer, and Mr. Blandings Builds His Dream House. Yeah, guess what that movie's about. Don't listen to Has She Seen One Too Many Motion Pictures. These movies, 4, 5, and 6 in particular, are just, like, Mission Impossible 4, 5, and 6, in my opinion, are like the best action trilogy to come out in the last decade. I can't wait for the 7th one. And also, The Adventures of Gumby, the 1980s series, Volume 1 and Volume 2. So now we have the complete Gumby series. The 50s, 60s 1, 60s 2, 80s 1, and 80s 2.
You afraid of a little piece of dough? Oh, come on, Pokey!
And now the moment you've all been waiting for, an update of my VHS collection. Yeah, the only VHS tapes that I've been getting recently are like old classic movies, either ones that aren't on DVD or ones where the DVD isn't like widely available, ones that I can't just go to Savers and find the DVD of. So let's get started. The Merry Widow. This is one of my favorite Ernest Lubitsch movies, and why isn't this on Blu-ray? I'll never know. Basically, my dream Blu-ray release is a Criterion release of The Merry Widow and 1 Hour With You that has the French language version, because this movie and 1 Hour With You were released in French with those two speaking in French, but there's basically no way to watch those because they're technically not lost, but I can't find any way to watch the French version. La Veuve Joyeuse. Frank Capra's Lost Horizon. I need to watch more Frank Capra movies. One day at Savers I found 4 Nelson Eddy movies. The first one is The Girl of the Golden West. I don't know what that one's about. And Sweethearts. I'm in the middle of watching this. It's MGM's first Technicolor movie. Balalaika. I don't know what that one's about either. And Let Freedom Ring. This doesn't have Jeanette MacDonald in it, but on Letterboxd, it's technically, before I watched it was in the top 5 best MGM musicals that I haven't seen yet. Second Fiddle. I guarantee you've never heard anything about this movie. It's basically a parody of the search for an actress to play Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind. It's kind of ironic because in the movie they say that Sonja Henie's character, in the movie the producers of the movie say that Sonja Henie's character gave one of the best test performances they've ever seen, but in the rest of the movie Sonja Henie gives like not a good performance. I mean, she's good at ice skating, but just she's terrible at acting. The Pirates and The Toast of New Orleans. I need to collect more of these MGM musicals VHS tapes with the red banner on the top. People Will Talk. I have no idea what that one's about. And more MGM musicals, Because You're Mine. For some reason, some of them, like this one and The Merry Widow, they weren't released in the MGM musicals banner. Kiss Me Kate. I own this on DVD, so I don't need to watch that. And Affair to Remember. I've already seen this on DVD. The worst thing about old VHS tapes is that, like, if the movie's in like CinemaScope, like basically you're only watching like half the movie at one time because they crop it into 4:3 pan and scan. Like this one, Auntie Mame, a movie that was nominated for Best Picture in 1958, and yeah, I like it more than Gigi, that's for sure. And finally, Marooned. Yeah, look up clips of this movie and just think that this movie won an Oscar for Best Visual Effects the year after 2001: A Space Odyssey. And we also have The 10 Commandments, the 35th Anniversary Collector's Edition, with these two. Basically, they're printed upside down because they go in there upside down for some reason. And something else that's cool, the Star Wars Trilogy, the Special Letterboxd Collector's Edition. This has this, as well as all 3 Star Wars movies, and the Star Wars to Jedi, The Making of a Saga, in letterboxed widescreen. It also has this lenticular cover. And finally, Pixar. This is a promotional VHS that has Luxo Jr., Red's Dream, Tin Toy, and Knick Knack. I found this at Goodwill, and it's a really nice find because it's kind of hard to find. Yeah. And that's it.